Have you ever gone to bed feeling mostly fine, only to wake up tired, heavy, a little swollen, and not quite sure why your body feels older overnight? Let me ask you something uncomfortable but important. What if the real damage isn't happening during the day, but silently while you sleep when you think your body's supposed to be resting? I'm Dr. Richard Hale, and after decades of working with older adults, I can tell you this plainly. Kidney decline rarely announces itself with pain or alarms. It whispers. It shows up as ankle swelling, you brush off fatigue, you blame on age, or a dull ache in your lower back you learn to ignore. And here's the urgent truth most people never hear: by the time kidney problems are obvious, significant damage has often already occurred. In the United States alone, millions of adults are living with declining kidney function right now and don't know it, and every night that passes without support quietly pushes the body closer to irreversible loss. But here's where this conversation takes a very different turn. Because your kidneys don't shut down at night, they shift into repair mode. And what you eat in the evening can either overload that process or gently support it. This is not about extreme diets, expensive supplements, or fear-based restrictions. It's about understanding how a few familiar vegetables interact with your body's natural nighttime healing systems in ways modern medicine is only now fully appreciating. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through simple evidence-based choices that can help reduce strain on your kidneys while you sleep, support healthier filtration, and potentially slow the rise of creatinine that so many Americans over 50 are struggling with. Stay with me, because the difference between waking up drained and waking up steadier may come down to what's already sitting in your kitchen tonight. And once you understand this, you'll never look at your evening meal the same way again. Here's where this really begins with a vegetable most people walk past without a second thought. Beets. Deep red, a little earthy, not exactly exciting, and yet for the kidneys, they can quietly change everything. I once worked with a retired engineer in his late 60s who told me, "Doc, I did everything right. No fast food, no sugar, but I still woke up swollen and exhausted." What he didn't realize was that his kidneys weren't failing loudly. They were struggling silently, especially at night. When we added a small serving of beets to his evening meals, something shifted within weeks. The morning ankle swelling eased. His energy stopped crashing by mid-afternoon. Nothing dramatic, just steady improvement, which is exactly how kidney healing works. Here's the science behind that change. Beets are rich in natural compounds called betalains, which support blood detoxification and reduce oxidative stress. Even more important, beets are one of the most powerful dietary sources of nitrates. Inside your body, those nitrates convert into nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes blood vessels and improves circulation, especially to small, delicate organs like the kidneys. Research from the Cleveland Clinic has shown that improved renal blood flow reduces filtration strain, meaning your kidneys can do their job without being pushed to exhaustion. Beets also provide folate, which helps lower homocysteine, a blood marker known to damage vessel walls, and accelerate kidney decline when left unchecked. The key is timing and simplicity. About half a cup of cooked beets with dinner, roasted, steamed, or even pre-cooked, gives your kidneys support right as they enter their overnight repair cycle. And know that pinkish urine the next morning isn't harm. It's evidence the process is moving. But improving blood flow is only part of the story, because even perfectly nourished kidneys can't function well if the body lacks steady hydration, and that brings us to the next overlooked food almost everyone underestimates. After blood flow comes something just as critical, yet far more misunderstood: hydration, not the kind that floods your system all at once, but the kind that supports your kidneys quietly hour by hour. This is where cucumbers enter the picture. I remember a woman in her early 70s who told me, "I drink water all day, but I still wake up feeling dry, puffy, and stiff." What she didn't realize was that her kidneys weren't asking for more water, they were asking for steady water. When she began adding cucumbers to her evening meals, the morning puffiness around her eyes softened, and that heavy feeling in her legs slowly faded. Nothing dramatic, just calm, consistent relief. Cucumbers are nearly 95% water, but that's only the beginning. Unlike chugging a glass of water before bed, which often leads to nighttime bathroom trips, cucumbers release fluid gradually as they're digested. This creates a slow, continuous hydration effect that supports kidney filtration through the night without overwhelming the system. According to the National Kidney Foundation, mild chronic dehydration is far more common in older adults than most realize, and it places constant stress on already aging kidneys. Cucumbers help correct this gently without forcing the kidneys into overdrive. There's another detail most people miss. The peel of the cucumber contains silica, a trace mineral that strengthens connective tissue, including the fragile structures inside the kidneys themselves. That's why peeling cucumbers removes one of their most valuable benefits. Add to that their moderate potassium content, which helps counterbalance excess sodium, a major driver of fluid retention and morning swelling. Cucumbers also contain natural anti-inflammatory compounds in both the seeds and skin, helping calm the low-grade inflammation that slowly erodes kidney function over time. The simplest approach is also the most effective: sliced cucumbers with dinner or as an evening snack, ideally 2 to 3 hours before sleep, so your body can put that hydration to work before the kidneys shift into their nighttime repair phase. But hydration alone isn't enough, because even well-hydrated kidneys can struggle when mineral balance goes wrong, and that brings us to a surprisingly colorful solution most people are afraid to eat for all the wrong reasons. If hydration sets the stage, the next challenge is one that quietly scares many people with kidney concerns: potassium. This is where bell peppers completely change the conversation. I once spoke with a man in his early 70s who had started avoiding vegetables altogether because he'd been warned about potassium. I figured safer meant eating less, he told me, but within months his energy dropped and his labs worsened. What he didn't know was that his kidneys weren't asking for fewer vegetables, they were asking for the right ones. When we reintroduced bell peppers into his evening meals, he finally had a vegetable that nourished without overwhelming his system. Bell peppers are remarkably low in potassium, especially compared to other colorful produce, which makes them a rare advantage for aging kidneys. But their real strength lies in what they provide instead. Research teams at Stanford have shown that bell peppers are among the highest vegetable sources of vitamin C, a powerful antioxidant that protects the tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys from daily oxidative damage. One medium red bell pepper contains more vitamin C than an orange, and that matters because oxidative stress is a silent driver of kidney decline. There's another layer most people never hear about. Bell peppers contain beta-cryptoxan, then a compound your body converts into vitamin A overnight. This conversion plays a direct role in protecting the lining of the kidney tubules, the microscopic channels responsible for filtration. When these tubules stay healthy, kidneys age more slowly. Bell peppers also deliver a unique type of fiber that forms a gentle gel in the digestive tract, slowing sugar absorption from evening meals. That stabilization is critical because repeated blood sugar spikes force the kidneys to work overtime, especially in people over 50. Practically speaking, about 1 cup of bell peppers with dinner raw roasted or lightly sautéed is enough to gain these benefits without risk. Their natural sweetness makes them easy to enjoy, even for people who think they don't like vegetables. But protecting kidney tubules and blood vessels is only half the battle, because filtration also depends on how efficiently your body removes waste, and that brings us to a vegetable that works quietly through the gut while you sleep. Once blood flow is supported, hydration is steady, and mineral balance is under control. There's one more piece that quietly determines whether your kidneys actually get a break at night, and that piece lives in the gut. This is where zucchini becomes far more powerful than it looks. I remember a retired nurse who said, "I eat light dinners, but I still wake up bloated and tired." What we uncovered was subtle waste was lingering too long in her digestive system, quietly recycling back into her bloodstream. When zucchini became a regular part of her evening meals, that heavy morning feeling slowly disappeared, not because her kidneys worked harder, but because they finally had less to clean up. Zucchini is exceptionally low in potassium, phosphorus, and sodium, which is why nephrologists almost universally approve it, even for people with declining kidney function. But its real value comes from the combination of water and soluble fiber. Together, they keep digestion moving smoothly through the night, preventing toxins from sitting in the intestines long enough to be reabsorbed. Research from the Mayo Clinic has shown that healthy gut bacteria play a much larger role in kidney health than most people realize, because those bacteria help break down uremic toxins before the kidneys ever see them. There's another advantage that rarely gets mentioned. Zucchini contains natural compounds called cucurbitaceans, which have a mild diuretic effect. This gently encourages excess fluid to leave the body without the harsh mineral losses caused by pharmaceutical diuretics. Many people notice they wake up less puffy, not weaker. Zucchini also provides magnesium, a mineral many older adults are deficient in. Adequate magnesium helps kidneys regulate fluid balance and blood pressure more efficiently during sleep. Just 1 cup of cooked zucchini delivers about 10% of daily magnesium needs right when the body uses it best. Zucchini's B vitamins add one final layer of support by helping the body process protein waste more efficiently, reducing nighttime filtration stress. Spiral it into noodles, roast it, add it to soups. 1 cup with dinner is enough. But even the most kidney-friendly vegetables can fall short if timing and combination are wrong, because when you eat them matters just as much as what you eat. And that's the next piece most people overlook. Here's the part most people never hear, and it's often the reason good foods fail to deliver results: timing and combination. I once spoke with a retired accountant who told me I eat all the right foods, but my labs never improve. When we looked closer, the problem wasn't what he ate, it was when and how. He was eating kidney-friendly vegetables randomly, sometimes late at night, sometimes overloaded in one meal, then skipping them for days. His kidneys never got a consistent signal. Once we adjusted the rhythm, things finally began to shift. Your kidneys follow a circadian pattern, just like your brain and hormones. Between roughly 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., they enter a phase focused less on active filtration and more on repair, pressure regulation, and cleanup. Research in chronobiology shows that nutrient availability before this window strongly influences how efficiently that repair phase works. Eating supportive vegetables 3 to 4 hours before sleep allows their compounds to circulate before the kidneys switch modes. Eat too late, and digestion competes with repair. Eat too early, and the signal fades before it's needed. Combination matters just as much. You don't need all 4 vegetables every night. In fact, rotating them reduces digestive load and improves consistency. One evening might include roasted beets with protein. Another could be bell peppers and zucchini sautéed lightly in olive oil. A third night might feature cucumber alongside fish. This variation prevents mineral stacking while still providing broad support. Studies on dietary adherence show that simple rotation increases long-term consistency by over 40%, an overlooked factor in kidney outcomes. There's also a critical mistake that quietly cancels progress: overcooking and oversalting. High heat destroys nitrate compounds, vitamin C, and delicate phytonutrients. Excess sodium forces the kidneys to retain fluid, undoing the very benefits you're trying to create. Gentle cooking, moderate temperatures, and herbs instead of salt keep the signal clean. Another common error is inconsistency: eating perfectly for 2 days, then forgetting for a week. Kidneys don't respond to occasional help. They respond to steady patterns. Most people notice subtle changes within 2 to 3 weeks when timing and combination are correct. Morning swelling softens. Afternoon energy becomes more stable. Urine often looks clearer. These aren't dramatic miracles. They're quiet signs that pressure inside the kidneys is easing. And that's exactly what you want. Before we move on, let me ask you directly, does your dinner timing change from day to day, or is it predictable? If this sounds familiar, leave a comment below, because I read everyone, and it helps others realize they're not alone. But even with perfect timing and the right combinations, there's one factor that can quietly override everything we've discussed so far: creatinine and the everyday foods that either push it higher or help keep it under control. This is the point where everything comes together, because no matter how well you eat or how carefully you time your meals, creatinine is the number that quietly decides how much stress your kidneys are carrying. I've met many older adults who told me, "My creatinine just keeps creeping up even though I'm eating healthy." And when we look closer, the problem wasn't overeating. It was eating the wrong healthy foods without realizing their hidden impact. Milk, whole grain bread, bananas, spinach, canned soups. Foods praised for decades can quietly overload aging kidneys with potassium, phosphorus, or sodium. Studies show that phosphorus from dairy and meat is absorbed almost completely, forcing weakened kidneys to work harder. Large population data has linked high intake of ultra-processed and high-sodium foods to significantly faster kidney decline, even when calories are controlled. The damage doesn't feel dramatic. It shows up as tighter rings, puffier, mornings, rising lab numbers, and a sense that your body's always playing catch-up. But this story doesn't end with restriction, and that's where most people finally breathe again. Because when harmful pressure is reduced, the right foods can actively shift creatinine in the other direction. I've seen it happen with people who thought dialysis was inevitable. One man replaced tomato-heavy sauces and salty canned meals with chili peppers, cauliflower berries, and olive oil, and within months his lab stabilized. Chili peppers contain capsaicin, which research from Harvard-linked studies has associated with lower inflammation and improved kidney outcomes. Cauliflower gives the comfort of starch without the potassium load, nearly 2/3 less potassium than potatoes per serving. Berries supply anthocyanins compounds shown in large analyses to significantly reduce inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein, which directly affect kidney tissue health. Olive oil rich in monounsaturated fats supports both cardiovascular and renal circulation, reducing pressure, where kidneys are most vulnerable. What matters most is the swap, not perfection. Replacing one daily red meat meal with poultry, fish, eggs, or plant protein has been shown to reduce kidney failure risk dramatically. Rinsing canned foods can remove up to 40% of sodium. These small changes lower the metabolic noise your kidneys face every day. Creatinine doesn't spike because of one bad meal, it rises because of repeated unnoticed strain, and it falls the same way, gradually, quietly, when the burden is lifted. If you've been told your creatinine is borderline, this is your moment to intervene early when change still matters most. And if this section made you rethink foods you've trusted for years, let me know in the comments. I read them all. And your question might help someone else avoid the same mistake. But understanding creatinine is only half the equation, because knowing what to change is powerful, but knowing why this still gives you real hope is what truly decides whether your kidneys decline or stabilize. And that's where we're heading next. Before we close, I want to slow this moment down and speak to you directly, because if you're still listening, it means you care about your health, and that already matters more than you realize. Kidney decline doesn't happen overnight, and healing doesn't either. But the small choices you make consistently, what you eat, when you eat what you stop ignoring, can quietly change the direction of your health. You don't need perfection. You don't need fear. You need understanding, patience, and the willingness to support your body instead of fighting it. If you're dealing with rising creatinine, swelling, fatigue, or that constant worry in the back of your mind, please remember this. You are not powerless. Your kidneys respond to reduced pressure, lower inflammation, and steady support. Even modest adjustments, choosing the right vegetables, watching timing, avoiding hidden overloads can ease the strain and give your body room to stabilize. And if you're not seeing symptoms yet, that's not a reason to wait. It's a reason to protect what's still working. I encourage you to save this video because the information you've heard today isn't something most people remember all at once. Come back to it. Rewatch the parts that stood out. Share it with someone you care about who may be struggling quietly. And if you want to keep receiving clear research-based guidance on kidney health without fear, without extremes, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. We regularly share practical insights to help you protect kidney function, understand lab results, and make informed choices as you age. Most importantly, hold on to this truth. Kidney health is not about punishment or restriction. It's about reducing unnecessary stress so your body can do what it was designed to do: adapt, repair, and endure. Wherever you are right now, it's not too late to support your kidneys in meaningful ways. Start with your next meal. Stay curious, stay consistent, and take comfort in knowing that informed choices today can lead to steadier, healthier tomorrows.